Welcome to the Players Take, episode 212. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. Montrell, how you doing this week?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Off from work this week, so just been doing a lot of stuff around the house, cleaning up some chores and things that have piled up. So still got a few things to do, but been gaming as well, a lot in the evening. So, but yeah, been a pretty good week. So, um, I'd say let's just jump right in, Montreal. Not mince words this week. We don't have there's not a ton to talk about. So this may be a bit of a shorter episode, but we'll jump right in. So, for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do so on Twitter at The Players Take, or send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And all right, let's start like we always do with what we have been playing. Would you like to get started this week, or you want me to go?
Oh, you can go this week.
All right, so I haven't been playing. I haven't been playing a ton, actually. Like I said, I've had some things going on around the house. I did kind of get myself absorbed into a show that I'm really into right now, so I haven't been gaming like a ton this week, despite being off. But I'm actually today got myself kind of a little bit more into Hogwarts Legacy, so I think I'm going to be playing that the next few days as well. But so mostly been playing just Genshin. I actually did get through the main story, caught up on that finally. So I am not all the way caught up with that, but I'm pretty close now. There's only a few, like, I got a few story quests. I got to do some basic like world quests that are just like side quests. And that's really it. I'll have the game in like kind of like daily mode at that point, so I won't be playing it like a crazy amount. And then League. We've been playing a lot of League still, and I don't know where you're at with this game at this point, but I think I'm pretty good. We're not playing. It's kind of weird. We actually haven't been able to get 5 people together for I got probably since the last time we recorded. So it's really only been like 3 or 4 of us for the most part. But still having fun with it. I have been trying top a little bit more, and I'm getting better at it. I think I've been doing all right. I'm not like dominating necessarily, but I'm feeding less. I'm not feeding as much. Super hard. So I've been trying Camille out a lot. Actually, at your suggestion, and she is really cool. I like that character a lot. I think she's really fun. She's pretty versatile. Um, she is definitely interesting. I haven't fully wrapped my head around her, like how to play her super well, especially in like team fights. That's the thing I'm probably struggling with the most right now with her. Um, but yeah, still having fun with that. Trying to expand my character repertoire a bit to kind of give myself some differences in gameplay. Because ADC is like, like I said, I think that's my role. Like that's the one I probably am the best at and that I like the most. But it is all the characters kind of play similar, like in terms of what
Yeah,
you're trying to do with them. Whereas I think top has a lot more versatility with the characters. They all kind of play very differently from each other. And while a lot of them are tanks or bruisers or kind of fighters, like their ability loadouts are such that your strategy with each one of them is really different. And that's true in ADC too, but I think it's less true because they're all ranged. You're all squishy. You're trying to play the outside of the perimeter of a fight. You're not like diving in, necessarily. So there's just there's a lot of similarity there. Sometimes it can get a little boring playing that role at times, constantly at least. So, but
yeah.
what about you? Where are you at?
Uh, I mean, I don't know. I think our friend group is kind of like tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, half of our friend group is tired of it.
I think Jet is
Other half,
tired of it, and I think
yeah,
Brad's done. I don't think he's playing anymore. Period.
yeah.
Um,
Um, I actually don't know where it came from. It's just like all of a sudden, to be honest with you.
yeah.
Maybe
Well,
because you can't.
I think Brad had been coming. I think it'd been pretty obvious he was getting sick of the game. Jet. I feel like it's just kind of, I don't know. He just the last week he hasn't wanted to play at all, really. I think he's a lot more into Apex right now, which I'm in the opposite spot. I'm not really into Apex at all. And a lot more into League, I guess.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think like I take criticism. I think at least I think I take criticism well. I just think like some of our friend groups uh don't take criticism well. And it's like okay, I guess
yeah,
it can be a little annoying sometimes.
I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, I mean, I think we're all guilty of it, but I think me and you are the most like willing to hear it. At least I think when we've broached the topic of doing things differently or kind of the way people play, there's a couple people that get pretty defensive, and they don't really want to hear it as much. Um,
Yeah,
Cause yeah, I mean, like, dude, like when I fuck up, like you've called me out on things before, and I might initially like kind of be a little defensive, but I kind of internalize it though and think about what you said, and usually you're right. Because I kind of had this conversation with Brad. I'm like you are the best player on our in our group. You've played the game the most, you have the most experience, especially in the current iteration of what League of Legends is. So when you say something, like, you're usually right most of the time. So and I think our group of friends is probably not used to that. We're more used to Apex, where we're all kind of on an even playing field in terms of knowledge. And it's so, like, if you tell me to do something or you tell me I'm doing something wrong, like, I usually try to reflect on it and think about it, and I have been adjusting. I've been trying to adjust at least. So yeah, I don't think everybody's like that though. I think some people are very set in their ways. A couple people in particular. Um, but it's fine. It's not like that big of a deal. It's not like we're trying to be hyper competitive. It's just I think the thing with League though and MOBAs is it's kind of hard to have fun when you're losing, or when you're
yeah,
losing badly, like where you're not even competitive. You're just kind of getting rolled. And in order to prevent that, you kind of need to get better at the game, and not keep doing the same things over and over again.
yeah.
And yeah, and yeah,
I mean,
it like, for instance, like Jet in particular, like his biggest thing is he's so keyed on farm all the time. He kind of just goes where the farm is, no matter what stage of the game it is, and like what's going on the map. So there are periods of the game where he's not with us when we kind of need him with us. And it's gotten us killed a
yeah,
few times actually.
yeah. No, I mean, when I'm playing or whatever, like I always criticize myself and shit like that. So that's why
Mhm.
I always talk shit about myself. I'm like, man, that was a trash ass move I did, or something like that. I
Yeah.
always like
Yeah, I do the
criticize
same thing,
myself.
dude. I was like yesterday. I fucked some things up as Camille. I did some stupid shit. I went into fights that I shouldn't have gone into, and you guys followed me, and we ended up all dying probably because of that. And it's like I got to learn those moments. Like, 'cause it's hard. I'm learning the character, right? She's really bursty, so there's periods of fight where she's really not doing a lot of damage, and then all of a sudden, bam, I've fucking taken off like 3/4 of somebody's HP.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
yeah, and you have to understand those timings and when you can do things and when you can't. um
Yeah,
but again, I play ADC though. I'm not used to being melee, so it's kind of hard for me to gauge those things. I'm not really used to being the one getting focused.
yeah,
So I'm trying to learn that. It's hard. It's actually pretty hard in League, because League is a really bursty game.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. And I try to. I mean, if y'all have anything to criticize me on, like I try to ask people, or I really don't ask, but I mean, I recognize sometimes I recognize mid game, like especially as a jungler, or I'm forcing too many plays or whatever,
Hmm.
because maybe I expect one thing and we're not on the same wavelength as what I expect us to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
so
think
I try to,
yeah. Keep sorry.
yeah, I try to like recognize that and everything. Um, I don't know,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
would
try
say
to,
my biggest thing for you probably is kind of trust your instincts a little bit more with the group. I know people don't want to hear it sometimes, but I think it's better for you to say what you need to say. Like, if somebody's not doing something or not playing right, or like not I
it's just hard
yeah.
to do that because, for
Yeah.
instance, yesterday or day before yesterday, before you got online, I don't know if it was yesterday or day before yesterday. Um, it was me, Andy, and Brad, in the Discord, and we were talking about no, I think it was me, Andy, and or no, it was me, Brad, and maybe Delion actually
Hmm.
in Discord. We were talking about Apex, and we were talking about like different strategies and stuff. Because I actually do want to climb that game. I think it's still fun despite the hackers, and
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not really running to hackers. I'm just running to Smurfs. So my thing is like this, right? If I'm constantly running into Smurfs, there's probably people who are doing bronze to or rookie
Predator.
to
Yeah.
master runs or whatever, right?
Mm.
So we're gonna run into them. My thing is like, even if we get higher, we're gonna run into those levels of players anyway. Yes, I fucking hate the Smurfs and I complain about it all the time. But my thing is like, all right, I just need to get better. There's a reason I am in gold 3. There's a reason I'm in gold 4 or whatever. Um,
Hmm.
there's a reason we are in these tiers. So that's what I was talking about when I was talking to them about it. And I was just talking about, I was like, one thing we all need to do is we need to come in with a game plan or whatever. Like I said, I need to hit my shots better, and things of that nature. And uh, we just all need to be coordinated. And I was like, I was pretty much just saying like all my flaws, and then I was like pointing out the problems that we have with our team as a whole. I was like, Brad, you probably just need to trust your instincts a little bit more because you are a good player. You have a
Hmm.
good shot. You just need
Yeah.
to trust yourself. I was like, Delion, sometimes you rush too far
Hmm.
from the team,
Yeah.
and you go rogue. And sometimes we're still looting or whatever. And I understand you want to play the game and shoot people. I'm
Yeah.
like, sometimes we're looting and things of that nature, or we need this for a fight, or we need to look at the circle more or something like that. And you're already halfway across the map. That's what I was saying. Like we need to work on our map rotations more. Sometimes if we're playing ranked, sometimes the optimal path isn't just to fight all the time. And I'm like, if we just want to fight, then we can go into norms and just drop hot all the time. Like
Yeah.
that's what we can do.
Yeah.
But if we're playing ranked, then we have to actually start playing like ranked. So what I've actually started doing is like I've looked at tips and all this other stuff like that, and like a lot of critiques that I saw, or like he's like, the reason that you're not climbing or whatever, other shit that we do, we go in with a game plan and then we don't follow the game plan.
Hmm.
I think we have good team comp with our characters already, so that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I think we have good communication once we're in the fight. The problem is the command on the field. Now, I don't saying when I say command on the field, I'm not saying like one person beats the fucking general or whatever. Like we just need to do call outs more, and we need to recognize certain levels of play that's happening and things of that nature.
Well,
And this applies to
trust your
league.
teammates more too. I think that's something we're
Yeah.
bad about. We trust ourselves more than our teammates. I think all of us do that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and yeah.
And then one thing I've noticed that and I think at least when I'm the jump master, I like being a jump master now because I can kind of look at the jump field when we're jumping, and I can be like, okay, these are the points I need to jump at. I'm seeing where everybody else is jumping at, then I'm jumping like kind of opposite of that,
Hmm.
so that we can be a third party team because we're always complaining about the third party team. How about we become that third party team?
Yeah.
And I think we've been having a lot of success after that because Jet's been getting like super high damage ever since we started jumping like that.
Hmm.
Um, but the criticism, I did give Jet criticism as soon as he came to the Discord, and I was like, hey, I was like, because I was talking and everything, and I was like, and Jet, I think like I love that you snipe and you do a really great job, and I was like, and Loba fits your play style, but I was like, sometimes I need you in the fight more. I was like, I know that you are the supply or the support, so you can get out of fights fast, but I need like if me and Delion are rushing, I need you to be there with us. Like
Hmm.
I can't have you in the back sniping all the time, because like I don't want to watch you play the game for 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to play the game too, and
Yeah.
sometimes it'll be better to have a third person there, engaging rather
Yeah.
than that. So he got quiet, and I could tell he was frustrated the whole night. To be honest with you, I could tell he was frustrated. So that's
Was
why,
that
like the
was that the
next
night?
day,
Was that the night? I think this was 2 days ago. I remember I came into the
yes,
Discord late, and
yes.
you were playing Bangalore, I think, and you got really mad at something that happened. I don't know what happened exactly, but
No, I wasn't playing Bangalore. I was playing uh Mad Maggie.
oh, okay.
I was playing Mad Maggie because on certain maps I know how to play certain ledges now. Like I'm really good with Catalyst
Hmm.
on like Broken Moon and Storm Point, so I can make walls that we need on Storm Point. But with Mad Maggie, I can play her specifically on Broken Moon because a lot of people play defensive champions in that one, and I can break through their shields with my over my attack rather.
Yeah.
So um, I didn't really say anything. I don't think I said I was mad at myself. I think I lost. It was like a
Well,
1v1 I
you
lost or
took
whatever.
no. I there was a point where you like kind of took your. I think you took your headphones off and like threw them down or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I was I
I think
that
you had
part
because
I
you. I
yeah.
think you had me, Andy, and Elias or somebody on mute because we were playing League. I think you had us on mute because you weren't saying anything to us. And yeah, I just remember hearing that and I was like, oh shit. It's like what?
Yeah, I threw my headset.
Yeah,
Because I needed him to rush. I was like, "Yo, I need you, I
and
need you, I need
he
you."
did, and yeah,
He didn't.
yeah,
I had two of them knocked, and then I was fighting a third person.
yeah.
I actually I knocked one person. They got him back up because I don't know. We were in the Prowler fields. Oh yes, that's what
Yeah,
it was.
that's what it was. You had like a
We were in
bunch
the
of yeah.
Prowler fields. Yeah, and I threw my art up as catalyst, and I was like, "Okay,
Okay.
we got cover, and they can't see us. Brad can scan them through my thing, but they can't scan us." So that happened. I ran in, and they on my map they were right behind me. And I don't know during the midst of the fight what happened. So Brad came in afterwards. I think he got knocked.
Yeah.
I knocked the lifeline the first time. She and then I think it was a I don't know who the
Somebody
third person was. I
revived
know
her,
I was
right?
fighting a Mad Maggie.
Yeah.
It was a Mad Maggie on their team, and they had I don't know if it was a Bloodhound or a Valkyrie, one of those. And I got them down to like one health, and then they ran behind the wall, and then the lifeline crawled behind the wall and got back up. I re-knocked the lifeline, knocked the Valkyrie. The Mad Maggie came and flanked me, and then I was down, and I think at this point Brad got knocked as well. Like he was either
Yeah.
coming in or he got knocked before. I don't know where Brad was at. I think he was there, but he just got knocked and they immediately put him out. And I knocked two of them. And then Jet was like fumbling with the prowlers. And I'm like, bro, I need you. Like you have attack. Just
Yeah.
tack to me.
Mhm.
Like I need you. And he ended up getting in really late to the fight. Either the prowlers killed him or like they shot him one time and he died. And he
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he was complaining about the prowlers, but I threw my headset that I was like, I'm fucking pissed. Like, because we could have won that game. I was so fucking bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was super frustrated. That's I threw my headset because I was like, I don't want to say something stupid. So I came back and I
Yeah,
was like, all right.
I think I don't know. It's kind of weird, man. I like because I think you and I talk about this stuff, and I kind of talk about this with some of the other guys too. Like it's like Brad, he's pretty open to talk about stuff. I feel like but I do feel like Andy gets a little defensive sometimes when you start going at him. I don't really like we don't really talk with Elias one on one, so but
Yeah,
and yeah, Snakes. I've had conversations with Snakes too, and honestly, his issues. He knows what his issues are. He just still does it. You know, it's just like
doesn't fucking
it's not
care.
a it's kind of an open thing. It's not like it's hidden. You know, like nobody's being
Yeah,
like you know he knows what he's doing. You know, so I think the thing is though, I think we have to make it clear when we play with Snakes. Like, are we playing serious or are we playing fucking goofy? You know. Like,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I think for the most part, his default is just play goofy. He just wants to run at people and fight, you know.
yeah,
And I think if you want to play serious ranked, he'll do it. Snakes will do it. He's good at doing it. Like I've played matches with him where me and him have had moments together as a duo where, dude, like like I remember there's a couple nights where for a while, like we were just locked fucking in. Me and him were like we were like a symbiote, like fucking mutated together. Like decision making was on point with both of us, you know. So he can do it. Like I've done it with him, you know. And he's really good when he's in that mindset, you know. So
yeah.
I
No,
think it's just like,
he,
yeah, I don't know.
he is one of the better teammates to have. Like
Yeah,
as far as
it's just you
when
gotta
I
be
say
in his space though. Like I think
yeah,
you
when you
can't.
if you
Yeah,
give him a plan, he will follow the plan.
yes, he
Like
will.
that's why I tell him like when we're playing or whatever, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to rush this side, you go to this side, and he'll do it, and like we'll and the plan will come together. Sometimes and a lot of times I fell on my side because I get knocked or something like that early, and then
Hmm.
he'll end up finishing the fight or whatever.
Yeah,
But like when it all comes together, like it's really good.
yeah,
But me and him like to play like the other playlist. So
yeah.
like that's what me and him we do. We'll play like team deathmatch or
Oh
something
yeah.
like that.
Okay. Or control.
Especially
Yeah.
like the yeah, or control because those are really good to warm up on. So
Yeah.
we just play those until like we know other people are going to get in and be a little bit more serious with it. But yeah, I mean,
Well, I think
yeah, he's
yeah, because the thing I try to do with our group, and I do this more in Apex than I do in League, but um, I'm pretty flexible. in how I play games, multiplayer games. Like I like multiple different roles. I like multiple different characters. I don't usually like to play one style all the time. That's just not
Yeah,
who I am. So I try to be the one that flexes into whatever we need, potentially, especially in Apex. So I kind of adhere to whatever the teammates' play style is. But this is the problem sometimes. Is like sometimes when I'm playing with Snakes and Jet, they're complete opposites in the way they play. So I don't know what to do as the third person. Like, do I
yes,
play
yeah,
distance or
yeah,
do I play with Snakes? And I usually pick Snakes because I think if I'm supporting him, it's much more likely we'll win because if he goes alone, he's just going to die. If there's two of us, we might be able to make something happen with Jet supporting in the background. So so when I'm playing with like you in Snakes, it's usually a lot better because I think we're all pretty upfront and can be aggro. I'll just play with you guys. I'll key off what you guys are doing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's kind of why I got a little frustrated with Apex because I just feel like I'm in an awkward spot a lot of the time with the teams I'm playing with. I think Brad, like when I'm playing with Brad and Jet, it's an issue with them because I don't even know what Brad wants to do. Like
Well, Brad likes to. He will get up into the fight with you.
yeah,
Um, Sometimes he gets a little distracted by other stuff, but he will get into the fight with you. I'll say it like this: like I like playing with Brad a lot because he knows how to use his utility. He knows how to call out shit and
yeah,
everything like that.
mhm,
His awareness is kind of crazy, actually.
yeah,
So I like playing with Brad a lot. I just want him to be more confident because when he's on point, Brad is on point. He's
yeah,
hitting shots and everything. He's doing more damage than everybody on the team and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Uh, he just needs to be more
Yeah, and
confident.
I try to be the spotter a lot of the time, actually, like scout for people. That's why I play
Hmm.
Vantage a lot because she has an inherent scope in her kit. Like you don't even need a gun to use it. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm just constantly looking around. I'm trying to call shit out. I just call where teams are, all the time. That's what I try to do with her a lot of the time because that's what I'm saying. When I'm awkwardly in the middle like that, I'm like kind of trying to hedge a little bit, and it's so
Yeah, and I watch like videos and like Reddit posts and stuff like that about like how to adjust the teammates' play style. So that's why I've been trying to pick up more DMRs like the longbow and the
30
triple take
30
and
or the
everything, and
scout.
the
Yeah.
30-30 and everything like that. So I can be like more long distance and play to his
Mhm.
play style. It's frustrating sometimes because it's like when we get a knock, um sometimes I may not be playing a push character. I'll be playing a defensive character. Like
Yeah.
either I'm playing Ash or I'm playing Catalyst.
Yeah.
And it's like if I'm playing Ash, then yes, we need to rush in and just do our thing or whatever. Um, but sometimes we can't get there even fast enough because that other person may have a lifeline. So
Yep.
if they have a lifeline, even it doesn't matter how long we shoot them and we knock them, the lifeline is just going to get behind cover, put them back up, and then continue to pop shots at us or whatever.
Yeah, that's the
So it's
problem with
like
ranged in Apex, dude. It's just like you
exactly,
have got to push off a knock whenever you get one, and oftentimes we are not in a position to do that because we're too far away. Um,
exactly.
yeah.
And I just I don't think the current iteration of Apex right now fits his play style. I understand he wants to play it a lot, but it's like the current iteration of it just doesn't fit his play
Well, I
style.
think
We
it's
have to be
okay. It's okay. You just I don't
we just
like you
have to be
can't you
mid
can't
range.
be
We
at the
can't be
you, yeah
super
you
long
can't be at the
range.
edge of the 8x range. Like the 500 meters away shooting at people, or even 300 meters. Like you need to be 100 meters away probably to
Yeah.
to realistically capitalize on a knock, probably. And
Yeah,
even
because
that
I'll
might
be
be
honest, he's
stretching
like
it. So
Jet's like one of our best players on the team. So it's
yeah, he has
like
the best shot easily. Like I don't even think it's
exactly.
that close. Like I think it's him, Snakes, and then maybe me and you probably. Like after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Um,
and
yeah,
it's like he definitely has the best shot. So it's like that's why when I'm critiquing him and I'm like, bro, you have you may think I'm coming at you because I think I think I'm the pro or I think you're the problem or like I'm better than you. Oh, I'm saying you're better than all of us as far as shooting. I need you up there with this because you can hit those shots when you're doing your 1v1 thing or we're watching you do your 1v1 thing. The
mhm,
shit that you're doing is crazy, and it's
yeah,
like I need you to do that constantly, though. I need you to be up there. And he just wants
Well,
to
and we
snipe.
could be distractions for him, like,
Exactly.
yeah, right.
I don't mind. I don't mind being knocked as long as you finish the person out. I don't mind it. I don't even care
I
about
just don't
getting
want to get
kills.
knocked and then put out before you even get there, like
Exactly. And then I gotta
that's
watch you
yeah.
play. And then it's jetpacks or jet apex for 10 minutes. I
Jetpacks.
just I just don't want to watch
Uh,
that. And it's
yeah,
the same thing. Like piggybacking off of like of a league. Oh, if we go off, y'all, we are in the middle of a storm, so it might be a hard cut, and then it might be another
yeah.
hard cut.
Yeah,
20
it
minutes from now.
passed me already, but yeah,
Yeah,
Montreal I think is in the path right now.
yeah. But yeah, so uh, and then in League of Legends, I don't know. I played like sports and stuff like that in school.
Mhm.
We all did. I don't know if we all did, but me and you did.
I
We
did.
played like you
Yes.
played tennis, and then I played
I played football, I
basketball.
played baseball, I played tennis, I played golf. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
I played solo sports and team sports, so yeah.
yeah. When I, so to me, when I'm critiquing somebody, I know sometimes my demeanor may become a little aggressive, but it's
Mhm.
like that's just me being a team player. So it's like when I'm like, especially like when I'm in a game, right? And we won that game with when it was Elias, Andy, you, and me, and we end up winning that game.
Yeah.
uh Andy was jinxed. But I was telling Andy, I was like, Andy, push the lane. He's like, no, I don't want. I can't, man. I can't push the lane. They might get me. I'm like, Andy, there are 5 people on the map right now. 4 of them are mid, and 1 of them's top.
Yeah.
Push the lane,
Yeah.
and he just wouldn't do it. And I was like, I understand Pantheon is like jumping across the map, but sometimes you gotta take the L's. And
Just take the
if
shot.
it is
Take
it,
the chance.
yeah,
Yeah, take the
yeah,
chance. If you get the tower and force Pantheon to leave where they are, we might be able to win the fight then.
exactly,
So
exactly,
you're forcing a decision to be made. I do this in Magic actually a lot where I actually tend to play aggressive in Magic because I want to force the other player to make a decision because a lot of the time people make the wrong choice. They get in their head and they don't make the right call. And I've won a lot of
exactly,
games of Magic doing that to people because Jet does that in Magic too, where he gets really passive when he should be attacking. Like he'll just hold all his creatures and won't swing. And I've won games because of that. And yeah, it's like and yeah, Andy did that also. I think it was yesterday too, where we were in their base, like we probably could have won the game, and he died to a tower, and I was like, oh my I was like, oh
Well,
my
in that
god.
case, he was too aggressive, and I told him, I was like,
Yeah,
no, I was
right.
pinging the minion because I was like, kill the minion, kill the minion,
Well,
kill
he
the
had a
minion.
bloodthirster. Just get some HP, man. Hit some
Yeah,
minions, and you'll get some
and I
health
was pinging
back.
the
Like,
minion. I was like,
yeah,
kill the minion, and he went to go kill the tower, and I was just like, man, like I don't know if I'm like I try to be nice and I'm like, hey, y'all, like, maybe we should do this. And then that doesn't get responded. And then if I'm like medium, then like still doesn't get responded. Then if I'm like a little bit
aggressive.
aggressive,
People
then
get
it's like
defensive and
people
go into
get
their
defensive.
shell. Yeah,
So I'd rather just not say anything at all because I try to
I
talk.
know. That's
Because
what
at one
happens to me
point,
too. I do the same thing.
yeah, because at one point everyone's talking like, okay, yeah, we want to do the clash, we want to do the clash stuff, we want to do the clash stuff. And I think that's what Jet wants to do. He wants to do the clash stuff. He wants to play ranked. He wants to play serious, or not serious,
But we
serious, but
can't do
just
that if we're not going to listen to criticism. Like,
exactly. And that's what I was trying to tell everybody. I'm like, I need everybody to play their best, not what's fun. Because if we're gonna play
yeah.
what's fun, then we need to stay in norms. If y'all want
Well,
to play y'all
yeah.
best,
Right.
then we can play norms. If y'all want to play the best, then we can go in rank. But
Right.
even if we're playing our best, we have to know how to coordinate those with this. So
Yeah.
maybe we should practice in
Yeah,
norms,
like
or like
so for instance, right? I'm in norms. I'm playing top right now in norms because I'm trying to learn the role. I'm trying to learn characters. But if we play ranked, I'm playing ADC. Period. The end. And there's probably 3 or 4 characters I'm gonna play, and that's it. I'm not gonna fucking play shit I'm not good at. Like if we're gonna play
yeah,
ranked, I'm gonna play Varus. I'm gonna play Trist. I'm gonna play Jin, or I'm gonna play Zaya. One of those, probably. One of those 4. And
yeah,
that's it. you know,
yeah, and I mean, I don't know.
or maybe
It's
Kate
just
now too. Actually, she's fucking crazy right now.
And I guess the reason why we're talking about this, y'all, because I mean, y'all may have this thing in y'all friend groups
Yeah.
of video games, like this type of shit. I think a lot of people don't actually talk about this, like in their video game groups,
Mhm.
like you know. shit like this, dynamics and stuff like that. Because it's fun. I consider it like the games that we're playing is almost like pickup football game or pickup basketball
Yeah,
games on the
kind
court or
of. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Because
yeah. Yeah, right.
like because we'll be aggressive on the court with people, or if you're playing tennis with somebody, you're like, yo, that fucking backswing is ass, bro. Like, do something better than that. I
Yeah,
can predict it all the fucking time or whatever.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know. When I'm playing League of Legends and everything, like especially if we're playing norms, I just try to like I try to be cool with it. I'm like, "Oh, whatever. We're probably gonna lose or probably gonna win. I don't give a fuck or whatever. I try not to be super like upset at norms.
yeah.
And I try not to get upset at y'all because I really don't be upset that much. I just be like kind of piggybacking with what y'all saying, like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's like it's league, like I've been dealing with it for like the last 5 years,
Oh
this league.
shit.
So
Yeah.
I'm used to it now. Uh, but it's like I try to give like people counters and stuff like that as well. Uh, and I try to give people tips and everything. And it's like whether you want to listen to me on those tips is okay. Like I don't I gave
Yeah.
you the tip. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I
know if
mean,
somebody was
dude,
going
you've
to get
told me things like there have been times where I'm top and I didn't ward the river, and I'm like, I like you're right. I'm like tunneling too hard. I'm trying too hard to like play that dance with the other player, and I'm like not even thinking about the gank. And dude, I get ganked and I'm dead. It's like it happened a
and I
lot
say this
yesterday.
stuff because I've been there. I'm like,
Yeah,
I've been the person who's
yeah,
tunneled
yeah.
and went 5-0-5 in lane because I'm just tunneling so hard
And
and
I'm
I'm
getting
not
ganked constantly. Yeah. And it's like, and you're not
exactly.
learning the lesson though. I'm not like actually paying attention to river. Like I might even sometimes I notice myself doing this, and I'm trying to get better at this. Okay. I'm really good at this in bottom. It's weird. Like I play bot and I'm fucking hyper aware of shit in bottom. Like, dude, I call the jungler out before you guys even say anything a lot sometimes. Like I'm like, jungler's coming. I just like I'm starting to I feel like I've gotten a pretty good game sense down in bot, um, in terms of when to push, when not to push, when to freeze, all that stuff. I'm really figuring that out with bottom, but yeah, with top, I'm not there at all with top, dude. I feel like I'm a fucking baby sometimes, where I'm like I can't even crawl. It's because yeah, dude, I was like, we were playing yesterday, and I'm fighting a Pantheon top, right? Dude, I'm dominating this guy, bro. Like I was 5-0 against this motherfucker. Like I was killing his ass with Camille. And then, like, dude, the game completely turned around on me. They started ganking me, and I just like fucking like didn't react to it well, like and like they totally turned the game around, where the Pantheon got back in the game and he started influencing the map, and they won the game because of that.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
like it's like I don't think it was totally my fault that we lost the game,
No,
but
it
it
was
definitely was partially my fault. Like I let that Pantheon back in the game.
well, it
And
was
yeah.
like I got counter picked. I actually counter picked myself because I really wanted to
Oh,
play
you were playing.
Kiana.
That's right. You were playing Kiana that game. Yeah.
Yeah, so I counter picked myself.
Hmm.
And I was like, I even said it in the champs like, oh, we're probably gonna lose because I'm trying
Yeah.
to relearn this champion or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, the next game, like we fucking dominated. Well, it was kind of hard, but we dominated.
Yeah, that
And
was the
then I
game with
even caught
Mord,
my
right? I was playing against Mord top, I
yeah,
think. Yeah,
yeah,
and I did good in
and
that one. Actually, that one is a good. That was a good match. I think I did okay in that one. Like, I
yeah.
did.
No, that
Yeah,
was a really good
I
match
didn't let
because
the
like
Mord back in the game, is what I'm saying. In that one, like, I actually was beating him top. He was beating me early, but I kind of got ahead of him and started killing him 1v1, and then yeah, he was kind of a non-factor actually.
yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah,
And then even for me, when in that game, I was like, I was calling myself. I was like, I'm fucking feeding. God damn it! So I stopped being less aggressive as a Zed. I was like,
yeah,
okay, I gotta stop being less aggressive and target and be even more targeted with my assassinations or whatever. But we ended up winning that game
mhm,
because that Kate was like crazy good, but or crazy powerful rather. But I don't know. It's just I guess in the future, like I don't even know how for me to talk to our friends because it's like I feel like say like we move on to another game, Dota, right?
yeah.
And this is especially for like one of our friends, Brad. It's like, all right, now when that game start getting hard, bro, you're just gonna complain that this game's too hard and it's bullshit, and you want to move on to another game now. Like, it's like,
Yeah, yes, he does have a tendency to do that, which is
yeah.
why I'm
So
not diving into the deep end with him on it yet. I'm just I like I kind of want somebody else to be there because yeah, what's gonna happen when I get really into Dota and he wants to bail because yeah, the counters start coming out and people
yeah,
start like counter picking you and you're getting really hard shut down. Like, cause in Dota there are some hard counters. Like it's not like he talks about the game like it's some paradise compared to League, but it's I mean it's not. there are counters in the game, and you will get countered as certain characters against certain other characters, and it will be miserable. And you will not have a recourse to get back in the game. You will probably be shut down, and you will have a terrible game. But your team might still win. But it's like, so that happens in League and it happens in Dota. And I think it's like a grass is always greener situation with him with Dota. Is he's not played Dota deeply against people, so he doesn't really know how the game plays. And I do. I quit Dota because I got to the place with it that he's at with League. You know, like I got there with Dota, and so I know it happens. I know it can happen, and it probably will happen. So your point is valid for sure.
Yeah,
Like he may hit that moment with the game, definitely.
yeah, because I'm like, we all downloaded out Overwatch, and I was actually enjoying the fuck out of Overwatch, and then everyone wanted to quit, and I'm like, bro, I'm actually like liking
I
this
don't.
game.
Yeah, I just don't like the game that much. It's not
Yeah,
a.
and I
Yeah,
and and
yeah,
I and I understand people don't like the game. Like particularly you and Jet, y'all explain why he's like, I just don't really like the arena based thing, and it's not
yeah,
their thing. But
yeah.
like, like Brad was into it, and then I think Andy was still into it as
He
well.
was. He
I
still
think
is. I think he still
yeah,
plays.
he still plays it, yeah. But like Brad was into it, but then it's as soon as we started getting people our elo or higher, like the matchmaking was getting a little bit tougher for us. Then it's like,
We
all
started to
right, I don't want to play
lose,
this
and
anymore.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, no, you're
I'm
right.
like,
That
bro,
there is a thing there where well, like I was saying earlier, losing is not fun. You want to win, right? You're playing these games to win. That's the
nah,
kind of the baseline, right? But
yeah, and I
um,
totally get it, but
yeah,
people got to understand you're going to lose games. Like you're not going to
absolutely,
have. And I
100%.
understand when y'all talk about like with Apex, and I like playing Apex because I think each game we play is different. The only problem I have, like I said, is I don't want to watch somebody play all the time. I'd rather
Yeah.
like we just pop into another game and then keep
Yeah,
going. You
I
know
think
what I'm
my
saying?
problem with Apex is that plus the fact that I don't think we're on an even playing field most games. And I get it, it's BR. Maybe you're not supposed to be. It's too hard to make that possible with 60 people in a match. Maybe that's the thing I just need to accept with it, and maybe I will at some point. But it's just I feel like with League we're often on an even playing field with the people we're playing against.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. League is definitely has better matchmaking. Maybe because it's only 10 people that have to match up with, but it is better with the matchmaking. Um, but I feel like with League, certain people, if people like we all do it, like some days I don't want to play jungle. I play jungle every fucking day, and some days I just don't want to fucking play that role. Like it's
yeah,
just too stressful for me. Even though y'all don't be saying nothing, it's just I know it's a lot of pressure on me mentally. And I'm like, I just don't feel like playing this role today or whatever. Um, and it's like I don't know how. And then other people don't want to play the role, or they're not. And I'll be like, okay, y'all want to play the role? They're like, yeah, I play the role. I'm like, all right, you got to accept that you're probably going to lose. Like you have to accept it.
yeah.
And I don't think people are willing to take that
Which is
L.
why, yeah, when I play top, I'm like, guys, tell me when you're done with this, and I will go back bottom because we're probably gonna lose with me top. Like it's just, it is what it is. And you guys have been very nice about it, so it's been cool. I've been playing it, and it's getting better. It is getting better. Like I'm not feeding nearly as
But I
much.
wish
So
everybody was just like okay with losing. I'm okay with people learning a champion or whatever. And if I see that you're really trying to improve and learn the champion, or you're just trying to have fun over the fuck,
yeah,
like cool, let's do that. But then like I was like, okay, well if you guys like, because blind pick is an easier tier. Like normal draft is like almost borderline sweaty, and
yeah.
then rank
I
is
don't know why
sweaty.
Brad has such a fucking like weird thing about blind pick. I'm like, bro, the chances of you getting countered are like fucking 0%. They don't know what you're gonna pick. Like,
Exactly.
like
So
yes, you're probably gonna play against Jax a lot, I'm sure, but I'm sure that average is gonna even itself out. It's like I don't know.
yeah, and then I was like, if you want to play another role, then that's cool. I don't mind playing against like champions or whatever, because I know
You gotta
like
learn
I
how to
was playing
play
against a
against them
Jack.
too. Like,
Yeah, I was playing against a Jack's top and he was jungling, and I picked Alistar, and that Jax was so fucking. I was like 5-1,
yeah,
and that Jax was so fucking frustrating. It was funny. I was like, yeah, he's easy to play against. Certain people, and you just know how he works. Like
yeah,
we were complaining about it so much. I researched how the champion like works, and I'm like, all right, I know how to beat the champion. I researched how to beat Heartsteel, even though I still think it's broken. Like Uh, like if you're just going against a Heartsteel champion, you just gotta learn how to play against it. Like it's not the item itself; it's just you know, uh, there are counters to it. You just gotta learn how to counter it. And then some people don't want to build that counter. Like when Jet was playing, who the fuck was he playing? Oh, I think he was playing like Ari or Lux or somebody. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, you can
Oh,
build
cat
them
cat
two.
went fucking Heartsteel or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, well, you can build two different ways. I was like, I don't think you should build. I think he was playing Ari though. And this was like earlier
Yeah,
when
and he
we
didn't build the
like
Leandries.
yeah, I was like, build Leandries. You can still go bursty, but I was like, no, it was Vel'Koz. That's what it was. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
bro, if you pick Vel'Koz with Leandries and your spells, especially your ult, you would melt people. He was like, well, I got a built in this and that. I'm like, I understand that, but
You're like doubling
you would
down on it though.
you're
Like you're making
doubling
it
down on it.
stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, you would literally melt people. Because like that's how Andy gets so much damage. Because Brand has ticks on this stuff, and he just constantly doing Leandry damage,
Yeah.
and like I don't know. I just wish our friends would like listen to us sometime.
I don't know. We just see. I don't know. Yeah, we're talking about this every week, guys. So I'm sure some of you have friend groups you play games with. So I don't. Hopefully, some of these conversations you're taking something out of it. I think it's just the thing. Maybe we need to have a come to Jesus together as a group and be like, look, guys. I don't think anybody means anything bad when we're criticizing each other. We don't hate each other. We're all friends, right? It's like but there are things we don't do well in these games, and I am sure there are tons of shit you could pick out of the way I play that I'm not doing well, and I might not even know. Like I almost would rather you tell me, like for you, if you ever watch my replays, I'm sure there's like fucking 80 things you could pick out and be like, well, Justin, you should have done this here, maybe you should have done this there, and and I know it comes from a place of, oh, it's easy to like watch somebody and pick out what they're doing wrong, and you might be doing those same things as the person saying that. Like, so maybe it sounds a little hypocritical, but no, dude, it's just like I noticed this in your gameplay, and maybe you notice some things in my gameplay that, maybe I do some of the same things, but it's like I'm not aware of it. I'm not thinking about it. It's like you're in a league game, you're like really focused, you're tunneled, you're not like it's not. So I don't know. It's just I feel like there's just weird awkward tension that we kind of need to just pop a bubble with everybody, and like just pull it out in the open. Like, look, guys, all right, like we're not all perfect. There's some things we do wrong. Let's not get angry when we point it out. It's like,
I feel like I already said that though, and I feel
yeah,
like I don't know. People didn't really take it seriously. I don't fucking know. Like I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I understand my skill is not as. I think I'm on par with people in Apex. It's just like I have a different skill set as far as like Apex. I can use abilities and rush really good and do map awareness.
mm-hmm,
As far as like the actual shooting, sometimes I miss my shots a little bit. And it's like, all right, especially sniping. I'm not good at sniping. I know I'm not good at sniping at all.
yeah.
I don't get it. It's in Apex in particular, I don't get it. Other games like Halo, I was a fucking god. I was a god tier sniper.
It's
But
hard to
like
snipe in
Apex,
Apex. It is
yeah.
hard.
So I get that. It's just like I'm like I don't know when I think we have moments to push. I'm like, yo, we should be fucking pushing. And then there are moments where I don't fall back fast enough, and I know that. And it's like because I'm like kind of pinned down or whatever, or I'm trying to still fight or whatever the case may be. So
Mhm.
I know my issues, and but I still want people to call me out like Montrell, where you stay a little bit too late there. We were all running away, and you were still halfway across the map or still fighting.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, you know what? Okay, I definitely
Yeah.
understand that, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
somebody said that to me, and I been more aware of like looking at the map and seeing where everyone else is at if they're moving back or whatever the case may
Mhm.
be. But
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. So other than that, I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy a little. Like I said, I played a little today, and um, I just gotta say, man, I don't know why I've been like I don't know why we just been playing a lot of multiplayer stuff, so I haven't been gaming a ton other than that. But
yeah, totally understand.
this game is like super fucking immersive, man. They've really tried really hard to make this like a almost like an RP style game. um
Yes, yeah,
because there are so many activities in this game that aren't like combat, you know.
yes,
And I actually fucking love that. I know I've seen a lot of criticism of this game of that aspect of it, that there's just a lot of random shit to do and there's too much of it maybe, but I'm all into it. I like when I really dive into this game, I'm really like excited to dive super in because I just love the idea of this world and running around in a world like this and just doing all this random shit, like just doing like little mini games and I haven't done any Merlin challenges yet, but they sound cool. And like figuring puzzles out with your spells that you have um sounds really cool. Like it's just I just think it's a really good world for a video game. And I'm glad we have one finally. So I don't have much more to say than that. I haven't played super deep. But yeah, it's just that's like the one thing striking me every time I play it is just how immersive it feels to play it. I really feel like I'm in that world. Like this character is kind of me. And I think that's fucking awesome. So have you
Yeah,
played it any
no,
further or did you kind of stop?
I got like 12 hours into it. I got to get back into it. Just because like I said, we've been playing multiplayer games. So
Yeah.
there's one brief moment where we weren't playing that much stuff.
Hmm.
So I was like head over heels for this game.
Hmm.
But now that we're all playing stuff again, maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need to take a break.
I know. I was thinking that too. Maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you. I think this game is definitely designed. Now I'm actually like I saw the first two, three movies, and I was really late to the Harry Potter game, and I already explained why in the previous podcast. But I always thought the world was interesting as far as a video game, and I'm glad we finally got that video game. And now this makes me want to watch the Harry Potter series as a whole because I'm like super interested. I'm like, I love the houses, and I love the jokes now between
Yeah.
like the houses and stuff like that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
all this other stuff. So I can finally say I'm Team Slytherin, even though I didn't mean to pick
Oh
Team
shit.
Slytherin.
You're in
I am
Slytherin?
Team. Yeah, I'm in Slytherin.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's interesting. So this is what I don't want to play the game multiple times, but I'm really curious at like how the experience is different for each house because I'm in Ravenclaw. And
My girl,
yeah,
Deanna's Ravenclaw.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of picked Ravenclaw. Like, my wife always gives me shit about this because some fucking survey we both did a long time ago said we were both Hufflepuffs, and she's like, you're a Hufflepuff, and it's like I don't necessarily identify as that. So she's giving me shit about it when I was playing this because she was here when I was doing the sorting thing at the beginning of the game, and it lets you kind of pick you can kind
Yeah.
of you can literally pick your house what you want to be in. But I kind of tailored my answers to what I thought Ravenclaw would be, and she's like, you're not having an authentic experience with the game, and I was like, yeah, but this is what I want to be. So it's. But
Yeah, that's funny
yeah,
because I wanted to be in Ravenclaw.
yeah,
I always thought like Team Slytherin was like the evil people.
yeah,
So when I did my questions, I just answered them honestly, and then
yeah,
it was like, Slytherin. It's only like two or three questions, I think.
yeah,
He was like Slytherin. I was like, fuck it, because they gave me the option to go to Ravenclaw. I was like, no, I'm gonna be Slytherin. Fuck it, I'm just gonna go with.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, I want to see the different experiences as well because my house is like kind of they're not super competitive, but they're like some of them like really cool, and then some of them are like really competitive, and some of them are like secretive. So it's like it's really cool.
yeah,
I want to see like how Hufflepuff, acts, and then how Ravenclaw acts, and
yeah.
Gryffindor, and everything like that.
Yeah,
So
because there's archetypes for each house. I mean, if you read the books, like it's pretty spelled out in there. Like, Slytherin tend to be the more cunning. They actually are fairly intellectual a lot of the time, but also like competitive. It's not necessarily evil. They just have the highest tendency to
they
maybe
have
turn that way if
they
somebody
have
influenced them.
ambition, pretty
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
ambition, right? They're ambitious. Whereas Gryffindor are like the courageous ones. They kind of do the right thing. They're the righteous ones. Ravenclaw is more like intellect. They're very smart.
Okay.
Those are like the ones that are super intelligent. And then Hufflepuff. This is like always the running gag. It's like everybody else is Hufflepuff. It's like if you don't fit in one of those three archetypes, you're kind of Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
But I think Hufflepuff though is more. And the game actually does spell this out too. Is like more about like you're loyal. You're very loyal to people in general, like your friends or family, things like that. And you kind of you're willing to stand up to things like injustice and things like that. So um so there are those are kind of the there's just more nuance to it than that, but that's like kind of the basics of each house, like what the archetype would be. So I mean, in reality, I think the only house that I don't fit into at all is probably Gryffindor. I definitely would fit in Slytherin. I think I probably would fit into Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. Probably
Hmm.
Ravenclaw a little less than the other two, but yeah, if I was like being truly 100% honest with who I am, but it's a fucking game. I'm fucking role playing. It's like whatever. I've just always been curious about Ravenclaw. Like what what it means to be in that house, and so I'm hoping the game lets me explore that a little bit. So
Yeah, no, it's definitely gonna be an experience. I can't wait for you to get a little bit further and play it and everything. It's
yeah,
definitely an experience for me. It,
yeah. It's
it just comes from somebody who just never like
mhm,
got deep into Harry Potter. Like it's the world is very it just grabs you, and
yeah,
I understand why people love Harry Potter and they die by it.
yeah.
Harry Potter. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's actually funny. I just did like a combat encounter early in the game in Hogsmeade, and there's some damage that happens in the middle of the fight. Like buildings get damaged and things like that. And after the fight, you have to repair all the damage with the Reparo spell. And it's
Mhm.
fucking that's like fucking awesome. It's so cool. Like I'm just like, dude, that's like, oh my god. It's like it's a stupid thing because most games wouldn't make you do that kind of shit, but I kind of love the fact that they do here because it's like if you were there and you were engaged in that fight, you kind of probably would do that, like you would fix everything after the battle was over, right? Like if you had the
Yeah.
capability to do so, and your character does in that moment. So it's like it's kind of cool. It's a small thing, but it's like I like those decisions, with the choices they make in the game. And I'm sure some people are like, why the fuck are you making me repair like these 7 fucking things that broke? It's like what the fuck? Some other fucking NPC is gonna do that, right? It's like, but no, it's like I don't know. I can't. I just I dig it. I don't know. They're trying really hard to make the game immersive, and I appreciate that. So um
Yeah, I'm glad like the whole hate thing is over
mhm.
with it and everything like that.
Right, my brother's
I don't
playing
know.
the game now, which is fucking funny to me after all the
I'm
belly
glad
aching he was doing about it.
yeah, I'm glad he's finally playing the game. No, I just think it's a really great game. Kind of feel bad for people who don't experience it to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't think people should let like, that
Yeah.
situation. I mean, you can stand on your own morals. I can't really tell you what to do. But I don't know. I just feel like yeah, people are just missing out on a great experience. It's really cool, and everything like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's my piece on it though.
Okay. One thing I do want to mention that I did play this past weekend actually is not a video game, but a board game, and I want to talk about this game because I think if you're into board games, like I think this is definitely a type of game that a gamer would enjoy. It's called Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. It is a Kickstarter game that I think a second printing Kickstarter already happened, but if you don't know about this game, I'd recommend you look it up. It is a RPG style game. So it's a party game with up to 4 players. And you make a character, you level up. There's experience. There's some light RPG mechanics in it for your characters. It's actually not that overwhelming in my opinion. It's not super complicated, and I actually like that in the game because this is something that board games don't do very much. Is story is not really a huge component to most board games, especially even dungeon crawlers that are like trying to emulate D&D in somewhere. Which is funny because they emulate the combat of what like the leveling and all that of the combat of D&D and the progression, but they don't emulate the story most of the time. And actually that is a humongous component of D&D is the story. That's the fun part, right? The combat is fun too, leveling your character is fun too, but in my opinion, the real like joy in D&D in my experience, I've never played D&D, but like I've watched like a couple shows that are D&D games, and the real fun that I take out of it most of the time is the actual story that's playing out. So this game is one of the first board games I played of this type, this like RPG on in a box kind of game where it really takes that story element and really actually puts it to the forefront. Because so the game is broken up into chapters. I think there's 21 or 22 chapters in the game, and the game is basically like a choose your own adventure book. So you show up at the beginning of a chapter and you have to start making choices immediately. And based on those choices, different things will happen. You'll go to different locations. You have the ability to go to different locations at certain points in the chapter. And then, depending on what location you go to, that may unlock a different location that wasn't unlocked before you went there, that you can then go to. And there's multiple ways to get to the end of a chapter. And I think that's really cool. It's really interesting. And it actually builds this lore in the game that I already find really interesting. And this is a really cool world that this company has built for this game. And I'm actually really excited to play it some more. So me and my group, it's actually only three of us. It was me, Jed, and Tyler. Um, we started playing it. We only did the first chapter. So Montrell, I mentioned this game to you. I actually think you would really like this game. So next time we play, I'll let you know if you want to join us or not. But
Okay.
it's just it's a really unique board game, at least for me. I know there's other games like this that are out there, but this game kind of does everything that I want and what I would want out of like the perfect RPG in a box kind of game. So
Okay.
it is really cool. It is, again, it's called Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. It is made by Shadowborn Games is what they're called. So check that out if that any of what I just said sounds interesting to you and you have a game group to play with. Actually, you don't even need a game group to play with. You can play the game solo as well. So that is an option if you're not blessed enough to have a game group to play with. So okay. Montrell, is there anything you've been playing that we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
No, I think we covered everything.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the news. Like I mentioned early in the episode, not a lot of news this week, so this section will probably be pretty quick. But the biggest story that happened, though, is this is kind of a going under the radar a little. Is Ubisoft is closing down a bunch of their European offices, including their Benelux. I don't. Is it Benelux or Benelux? I don't know. Office, which is one of their bigger offices, and they have cited quote external factors impacting their sales, their physical game sales. And this is kind of following up on a story that we did, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago about Ubisoft that we
Yeah.
covered and talked about, where it just sounds like this is like another cascade of events happening with Ubisoft, where it just seems like they're not doing very well right now, in
Yeah.
general.
Ubisoft is weird, man. This is a weird company. The reason why I say this is a weird company, uh, their games come out, depending on the game, terrible.
Yeah.
Sometime, but then depending on the game as well, y'all gotta stay with me. They will come back and turn that game into a magnificent piece of like something, and you're like, wow, there's something here. I see where you guys are finally going with this game.
Yeah.
I'm playing. Oh, that's a game I forgot to mention. I'm sorry. I have me and my friend are actually playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint,
Okay.
and the I remember when that game first came out, everybody was like trashing the game and everything like that. But then, uh, all of a sudden I start seeing YouTube videos on my newsfeed about, the game is good, and all these like YouTubers are playing it and everything like that, and they got different modes you can play. And me and him are playing like immersive mode where it's like not a gear level, like the RPG mechanics are cut out. So it's like a pure tactical, like open world RPG game, or open world tactical
Shooter.
spy game, shooter game. Yeah, akin to like stealth game. There you go, stealth game. Akin to like Splinter Cell or MSG5, and the game is fun as fuck, or MGS5 rather. The game is fun as fuck, and that's what they were doing with their other. They just came out with another update for fucking Far Cry 5, and a lot of people are praising it because the update's good. But then you got stuff like this. It's almost like there's two different Ubisofts, and I don't understand their mantra. I don't really get how they support their games, or what games they choose to support and not support, and get the money from what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is really weird to me, because like, if you go back and play like the Division and all those other games, those games run really good. They play really good after the updates and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the the problem with Ubisoft is they just need to release their games
Yeah,
really
the
good.
games that like oftentimes the release date of a lot of their games is not good, and they're good about recovering those games. Like Rainbow Six Siege is another example that was a
Yeah,
game
yep.
that launched poorly, and they've turned that game into a juggernaut. In the time since it came out, but you can't do that with every game though. you know,
Yeah,
there's just
exactly.
like a lot of the time you're lucky that you can get an audience back after losing them initially, and they are a weird company because it's not like Ubisoft. Like I don't hate them. Like a lot of their games don't appeal to me, but then you've got games like Riders Republic or Immortals Phoenix Rising. Like those are really cool, weird niche games that they made that I think are cool games, and it's like
Yes,
I like
yep.
that they make shit like that. And back in the day, the Prince of Persia games, like I fucking love those games. So they're not like a totally inept publisher. It's just I just think the thing is though, the problem with them is 90% of their releases is just, you know, like the same shit over and over again. It's Assassin's Creed. It's some fucking Tom Clancy game that looks the same as every other Tom Clancy game. They're just not like aesthetically, they're not interesting most of the time, and their ideas like given that like if you're not going to be interesting, you're not going to have an interesting concept, you really need to execute whatever you're doing like really well. It needs to run well, it needs to have good systems, it needs to be fun to play, all those things, and they're not hitting those second 2 points. The games often run well, but they don't play well, or they're not like designed in a way that's fun, a lot of the time,
Yeah.
and they just keep fucking these things up over and over again. And I just think for what, I don't know what the reasoning is for that their leadership like at all their studios seems to all have this problem too. It's like a top down issue with Ubisoft. Is they just seem to not have the right execution of an idea. You know. Um,
Yeah.
no.
I think they need to manage their, and maybe this is why they're doing what they're doing now. I think maybe they need to manage like their time and their scope way more uh
Mm-hmm.
better.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like their ability to bounce back is insane. Yeah, like I played Ghost Recon and I'm pretty sure it wasn't like this on launch. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I can't see why people trash this game. I didn't play it on launch.
It's
So I
almost like a
understand why
Final
people.
Fantasy 15 situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm playing it now for the first time, like I think 2 years, 2 or 3 years after its release.
Mm-hmm.
And the game to me, when me and my friend were playing it, we were doing call outs, we were putting drones out. I was sneaking behind people and he was like headshotting from a distance. It was like we were playing like a fucking movie game, like we were playing like
Yeah.
24 or something like that. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But I don't know. I feel I don't know. It's just they just need to get their shit together, and hopefully like this is what they're doing. I feel bad for the people who lost their jobs, um but hopefully like they can stop the mindless rehashing of franchises and everything, because I want to go back to Assassin's Creed, I want to go back to playing Far Cry and everything like that. They just need to
Well,
be
do you remember?
different.
Yeah, do you remember a few years ago after I think it was Assassin's Creed 4, they took a break for like 2 or 3 years on Assassin's Creed, and then they released
Yeah.
Origins. And then
Yep.
it's become a deluge of Assassin's Creed again. Then we got Odyssey, then we got Valhalla, then we've got the next one coming out, Mirage, I think is coming out this year. It's like they didn't really learn their lesson of the first go around with Assassin's Creed.
Exactly.
Like they did for a couple entries, and people were like Odyssey, for instance, I think is one of the most like well liked ones. But it's just like, but then you just start inundating us with it. And remember last year when we covered that event they had where dude they announced like 8 Assassin's Creed games, and I'm like, guys, like what? Did you not learn
That's
this lesson a few years
yeah,
ago?
like
Like,
uh, and my thing is I think what they're trying to do, what I come to understanding that they're trying to make an Assassin's Creed for everybody.
yeah,
So they're trying to make one of the classic Assassin's Creed. So they say like, oh, this was going back to the roots. And then I think they're making another Assassin's Creed for like the current iteration of Assassin's Creed. And
yeah,
then maybe another Assassin's Creed for like the 2D side scrolling ones or whatever, or the 2.5D side scrolling Assassin's Creeds that
yeah.
they used to make, that a lot of people actually like.
Mhm.
So it's like, um, I understand that y'all doing that, but at the same time, I don't think y'all have the scope. I don't think y'all have that investment to do that type of shit. Just make a good Assassin's Creed game. I mean, unfortunately, the whole Japan thing is not hyped anymore because we have Ghost of Tsushima now. Like they
Yeah.
did that already and better, you know.
Well, and now
So
they're
it's like,
doing it too. They are
yeah,
doing
now
it.
they're doing it.
Yeah. Like it's too late,
To
man.
me, yeah, it's a little too late because Ghost of Tsushima already came out,
Beat him
and
to the
that game is
punch. Yeah.
yeah.
That game's
So it's
phenomenal.
like so you will have to one up that game and bring something new to the table. Because we can't have all the blips on the map and all this shit like that. You have to redefine the genre. And they have defined the genre. The reason why I like Ubisoft games because they are a different spin on the Grand Theft Auto games as far as like
Yeah.
open worldness. I used to love Ubisoft games, but now like yeah, ever since like Black Flag, I kind of took a step back, and then I came back because remember we were playing Odyssey. Me and you were playing Odyssey at one point
Yeah.
because you're like, "Wow, this game's phenomenal."
I
But
liked
then
Odyssey a
once you,
lot, yeah. But
it-
it's
but
too
then once you
much.
zoom out the map, it's just
It's
like,
too much.
bro,
Dude,
what?
I did literally like 2 zones and there was like 20 more zones to go and I'm just like and I'd been playing the game for 20 hours and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, holy shit, dude." I like it's funny, it's a game that's been in the back of my mind for a long time. I actually really want to go back and like really experience that game to the fullest, but it's just so large. Like when am I going to fit that game in, you know? It's a
Yeah,
150-hour game probably, to do it all. And then they have DLC now too and it's like I think this is the thing. They become a meme with open world because Ubisoft did redefine open world games with the way they are structured and all the check boxes and the icons on maps. Everybody started copying that shit off of Ubisoft, and like I know it's become a meme now. It is a meme. Like their style is a meme, and it frustrates people. And I know a lot of people have gotten sick of it, but at the same time, I want to just say that like I think y'all asked for this. Like when they started doing this, everybody was all into it, you know? And now a few years later, we're like, oh well, fuck Ubisoft, fuck their games. I was never into it from the word jump, you know? It's like
hmm
I didn't like that shit from the get go, which is why I never played Assassin's Creed games. I don't need my games to just tell me where to go all the time, you know? That's not what I'm looking for in a game. And like with Harry Potter, for instance, like Hogwarts Legacy, I've turned off a lot of the notifications, the quest markers and shit like that. I've turned that shit off because I don't want to play the game like that, you know. But the thing is, the existence of it isn't a problem. It's just you need to be able to turn it off, you know. And I think Ubisoft hasn't done that in a lot of their games. So I think the flip on them it like it happened pretty quick too. It was weird. It was a few years ago where I think people just started to hate Ubisoft all of a sudden, hate their style of open world games, and I don't necessarily think that's fair. Because it's not like what they do is bad, right? There is a audience for the games they make, for the types of games they make. I mean, Assassin's Creed is still huge, you know, and Far Cry actually as well, also. So it's not like they don't have a place. I just think they got to adjust some of their vision because clearly some of the mainstream of like the core gamer audience kind of hates what Ubisoft does with their games, and I think Ubisoft just kind of needs to rethink who they are, what they do, and that seems to be what they're doing. They said this is like a reorganization. I think Ubisoft's kind of in a period of transition right now, and I don't know what's going to come out the other side of that transition, but it'll be interesting to see, I guess.
yeah. I don't know. It's funny because like a lot of these companies are transitioning. Like EA is transitioning,
Hmm.
and Ubisoft is
Square.
transitioning, and Square is transitioning, and even 2K. I feel like they're coming up for a transition as well.
Mhm.
I think even though we're in, what is this, the eighth or ninth generation? Eighth generation, right?
Ninth?
Ninth. This is ninth generation
I
of
think it's
consoles,
ninth.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though we're like in the ninth generation of consoles, um, I feel like we're still people are still recovering from uh yeah, this is ninth generation. I'm sorry, I had to check. But I feel like people or the companies rather are still recovering from or still coming down from the high of the seventh generation, which was the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. And you may ask like why I'm skipping the eighth generation. I feel like the eighth generation was an extension of the
Yeah.
seventh generation.
Yes.
If we want to be honest, I feel like it was a 7.5 generation, and then we just skipped to nine. We did the Windows. We did what
Yeah.
Windows did. Um,
Which I don't even think
um,
this generation so far, it's still more of just an extension of what we've been doing for the last 15 years, you know?
I
Um,
think I think things are slowly starting to change, and the reason why I say that is because um the game, especially like the younger gamers, they're starting to change the way they consume gaming,
mhm,
and they're starting to actually criticize games and stuff like that. Well, if it's going to be free to play and you make me pay all this stuff, I need to know why my servers aren't working. And people are just stop playing video games. Video games were in the best spot of their lives during the pandemic because everybody wanted to play a video game. But now people are going back outside. We're we are almost 2 years removed from the pandemic,
mhm.
and yeah, people are going back outside. People are selling their video games now. Not as many people are playing the video games. Not to mention like the economy and all the other crap that are affecting the video game companies who have to borrow money to do certain things and certain budgets and everything of that nature.
Yeah,
Like the scope isn't there anymore. So you have everybody downsizing and everything of that nature. And a lot of these games can't you can't you can't make a quality Assassin's Creed all the fucking time. You can't make a quality Assassin's Creed every fucking year. You can't do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um, and one can argue like they weren't doing that before the pandemic as well. You really can't do it now. So you have to double down on at least one game and put all your manpower into that game. EA has to do the same thing. I mean, look at fucking Madden. They lost the FIFA license, and now they're like Madden is their last ditch effort or whatever the case may be. And it's like and then even Square, like they fired or they didn't fire them. They got a new CEO last week. So the guy that was doing all the fucking,
Oh,
NFT shit,
NFT boy is
yeah,
gone? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
he's gone now. But the new guy they coming in, like almost sort of on the same thing, but not. They didn't really say what his mission statement was yet. So um I don't know. Like everyone's doubling down and they're trying to get away from the free to play. I think we're seeing the last remnants of the free to play stuff. We're seeing the last remnants of the constant 1 year cycle of games and everything like that. And I think that's what Ubisoft is doing. They're trying to get rid of that cycle. They're trying to get rid of the people who push that. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of those people are just doing what they're told, but they're trying to say like, these are the people we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to restructure. We're trying to do all this stuff like that. So, I mean, I get it, and I see why it's happening.
Yeah.
Especially for Ubisoft.
Yeah, I just hope they can hire some people that have better vision for games that they make, because I really think that's their biggest problem is most of their games are just uninteresting to play. Like for instance, they own the Heroes Might and Magic license, and it is one of the most frustrating license changes, like a licensing changing hands. Um that because they bought it from New World Computing when that company went under like 20 years ago, and
Yeah,
they've made 3 or 4 Heroes Might and Magic games since, and they're all absolute dog shit. They don't know what makes that series special, and they never have, and they just keep making games though for some fucking reason. And it's like, it's like an example to me. Like they need somebody in the room who's like, no, dude, this isn't what this game should be. You're not making this game the way people want it to be made.
well,
And
I think the biggest problem with these companies is they're chasing the money instead of having the money chase them.
yeah,
If you make a quality product, people will follow you.
yeah.
And they keep moving towards these free to play mantras and all this stuff like that. And it's like, no, make one good ass Assassin's Creed game and watch that game sell 20 million copies
Yeah.
like off rip.
No, that's a good point. Ubisoft, out of all the publishers, the big boys, they are a follower. Like they are definitely a follower. Whereas with
Yes.
Activision and even EA or 2K to a degree, I would say a lot of them are trendsetters in certain ways, maybe not good ways,
Yes.
but they have been trendsetters.
Yep.
Yeah, whereas I feel like Ubisoft just copies what those guys do a lot of the time and wrap their IP in that, whatever that idea is.
Yeah. And I just don't feel like that's sustainable. And I feel like even the other companies are starting to see that. I mean, as much as like as popular as Call of Duty is, I I don't see the franchise lasting that 10 years that Microsoft is saying. Like I just really don't see it. Because a lot of people are just tired of it. They're tired of the same shit. They're tired of everything that's going on. So it's like I feel like Ubisoft they have to just learn their identity. Like when you think of a Ubisoft game, what is their identity? My identity for them was like realism. Like they always try to target like realism with a little bit of fantasy and kind of up it up a
That
little bit.
yeah, that and like I would say the open world stuff. That's probably
Yeah.
their identity. Like the check checkbox games. You know.
Yeah, so I feel like they should just lean into that. And I know we were talking shit about open world games, but like redefine it, really redefine it. All right, guys,
Yeah.
we were the leads behind like Assassin's Creed. There was no game like Assassin's Creed before. Like
Right.
everyone was like, "Wow, this is insane." And then everyone, in my opinion, I mean, people would say Grand Theft Auto started the whole open world thing. I guess you can say, yeah, true, but like Assassin's Creed is what took, in my opinion, the open world to the next level. Like this is what a open world should be like. Um and even like Far Cry, right? Like that was doing the whole open world thing. Um
Mhm.
as far as shooters go, like an open world single player game, like crazy. Um and everyone loved Far Cry for different reasons, like as far as like a sandbox game.
Yeah.
And like Ubisoft has the and like Heroes of Might Magic, even though they didn't make the franchise, they have this franchise, this game defining franchise. They have, to me, like when I they have the tactical stuff, they have the Tom Clancy franchise and everything like that. Like they have the tools and the IPs to do certain stuff. They just don't want to double down on it because they're chasing the money.
Yeah.
And I mean, it worked out for Rainbow Six Siege, but you ask a lot of people who are like Rainbow Six Vegas fans, like I used to like Rainbow Six because like the single player was like really like the hard modes. You really had to learn how to control your team and everything like that, your
Mhm.
AI team and shit like that. But like I don't play Siege because it's not my type of game. It's like it's a free to play game and everything like that. So I don't know, but yeah, uh, hopefully they get their shit together and one day realize what's going on. But
Yep.
yeah,
We will keep watching for sure. Yeah, if Ubisoft were to go under, they have a bevy of IP that the industry would be very, very interested in. So, um,
yes, yes.
it'll be interesting no matter how this shakes out. I don't think they'll go under. I think somebody would buy them on the cheap probably before that
Oh
happened,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like literally just for the IP probably. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. So. All right, let's move on. So our next story is an announcement of release date. Capcom has released a new trailer along with that a release date for Exo Primal, and it is coming on July 14th this year. This is the shooter game that is like a you're fighting dinosaurs. Which what was it? Dino Crisis. Everybody thought it was Dino Crisis
Yeah.
when it was first announced. Montreal, do you have any interest in this game?
The mechs and the classes of the mechs look really cool. It gives me Anthem vibes.
hmm
Um, I just personally don't have any interest in like fighting waves of dinosaurs.
hmm
I know it was like a thing in like Battlefield. They did that. It was like soldiers versus dinosaurs, and that was like
Yeah.
way back in the day.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, the old horde mode from Gears of War that like started that whole trend, right?
yeah. Um, I just don't. I don't really have an interest in fighting dinosaurs. I just don't feel like they're scary. The only game that was managed to make dinosaurs scary was Dino Crisis, like
Yeah.
in video game form. Like that was the only game that managed to do that. Um, but besides that, I don't know, man. Like
Well, it's
I'm
just
not
like
really.
it's just goofy to me, man. Like just goofy looking. Like these dinosaurs are like they got like fucking weapons and shit, and like it's like okay,
It's like maybe that's what we need, a goofy ass game like this.
yeah,
But it's like also we're also tired of live service shit though. This is a live
right,
service game,
yeah,
RPG mechanics, and ooh, you get loot and all that shit. Like no, like I don't know. I feel bad for the game because it's coming out at a really bad time. Like all
yeah,
these, everyone's over the live service mantra. So I don't
yeah.
know.
I don't think this game's probably gonna have much of a future, but uh,
I'm
well,
pretty sure I have a small community, but
yeah, it'll probably have
yeah,
a small community, but yeah, it's just like I'm looking at the gameplay right now, and it
yeah,
looks funny. It just
it,
looks goofy.
it looks like Dynasty Warriors but with dinosaurs.
Yeah, yeah, and like mechs. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, definitely. So we'll see how it does, but I'm not expecting a ton from this one. But all right, let's move on. Next one, this one might be more exciting. Is so Bandai Namco has announced. We actually missed this last week. They announced a new Dragon Ball game, Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 4. And there has not been a Tenkaichi game for I think like nearly 15 years. So and this is the fighting game that was like third person, a third person fighting game, kind of the thing that kind of kicked off what I would call the
I was just about to,
Naruto Ninja
yeah,
Storm style. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was gonna say that. I think this game is the one that started the whole anime arena fighting game
yeah,
genre that
yeah.
I hate,
Yes.
which is really bad because I really want to play play this game.
Well, yeah. So, did you ever play the old Tenkaichi games?
Yes, I love the Tenkaichi games. They're so
Okay.
fucking stupid.
Yeah.
They're not balanced at all.
Yeah.
Uh, and it was just something that you play with your brothers or something like that, with your siblings or your friends. Y'all just play it or whatever. It
Yeah.
was like the Budokai games. Um, uh, I don't know. I think the Tenkaichi games are really good. And this one looks like the graphics are going to be really good and everything like that. Unfortunately, there are so many anime arena fighters that I can't get excited about this one. And it's not Tenkaichi's fault. It's just the
Yeah.
oversaturation, like over it of it. And like, yeah, maybe this will be like this is the original, this is the OG. And it's like, I guess I can give it leeway because of that. But it's just like I'm so tired of these anime fighters. But then, Dragon Ball is one of the few ones that does have different genres of fighting of games in its fucking repertoire. So you
Yeah.
got, Kakarot, then you have Dragon Ball Z fighters for that style of fighting games, and now you got this arena fighter. So
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, I guess that's cool. I mean, I don't mind it. And they also had that fucking Dead by Daylight fucking Dragon Ball game as well.
How is that
What
game
the fuck is it?
doing? The Breakers, Dragon
Yeah,
Ball, the Breakers,
Breakers.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from it, but I mean,
Cells trying to eat people.
yeah, like I haven't heard anything from it, but I thought it was like a really cool. I thought it was a cool idea. I just thought it was like a little bit too late, but I thought it was a really fucking cool idea. I'm like, wow, they actually trying something different with this franchise. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Yeah, it's still live. Apparently, it hasn't been shut down yet. So, um, but yeah, I mean, with Tenkaichi, so I did not like this style of game when it came out. I remember
Okay.
playing the first one, and I got to the point where I was playing through the story, and I think I played the part where like Piccolo fights Gohan in his like ape form, and I was just like, and like I couldn't get past it, and I was just like, I hate this. This game sucks. So I didn't even really play these games beyond that. I am much more into the 2D, like the old Budokai, straight up Budokai games.
Okay.
And Budokai 3 was the one that I like fucking lost my life to. I fucking love that game. So does not appeal to me that much. The Ninja Storm games, like that style, like you, I'm not super into it. I played one of them pretty deeply, but I kind of had my fill of it with that game, and then they came out
Yeah,
with like 18
exactly.
more of them, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god, dude, Jesus Christ! Like they're not that fun, bro. Like, like we don't need this many of these.
Yeah,
But
they look gorgeous, but you're right. They're definitely like not that fun.
yeah,
I don't know. Tenkaichi was like really cool because especially Tenkaichi 3, the team just whoever's developing the games, they started getting like crazy and start making like what if characters and what if scenarios and shit like that. It was insane the amount of shit you can do
okay.
with the game. It was crazy.
Yeah, well,
And
I think
then
yeah. Sorry, go keep going.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And then like later on, people start modding the game, and they were like adding dumb shit like Mexican Goku, and it was just like,
That's
and like
awesome.
he was
Uh,
like fighting Donald Trump. It was like it was
what
fucking
the fuck?
hilarious.
Okay, well
Uh,
that's funny, but I mean that's not that's like extraneous. I think these kind of games to me. I think the thing is for me personally, this is how I feel about them. I think they suffer in this modern non-local multiplayer era that we're in now,
yes.
where everything's online. I think this would be a fun series of game to play, and the Ninja Storm games, I put this in this category as well as local multiplayer games. Like
Yes.
I think they would be a lot of fun in that setting of playing with your friends in the same room. But playing
Yes.
online is just like it's just so it's just there's no personal element to it at all, and I don't think the games are fun enough that I'd want to get good at them. Really, it's like not that kind of game to me. So, um,
Yeah, and they still design them in that way to be couch, play it
co-op,
locally.
yeah,
Yeah, because I remember having, me and DJ going hours and playing fucking Ninja Storm and everything like that, and
yeah,
those games
right.
are just like super fun, and people try to take them seriously, but like I don't think they were
They're
meant to be
not
taken
deep
seriously.
enough mechanically. At least that was my
Yeah,
impression of them, that they could be that. Well, yeah, because to your point, right? Like about about the local multiplayer stuff. Like there's this old Naruto series. I don't know if you remember these from the GameCube era called a Clash of Ninja. Do you remember those? They were
yeah,
like
yeah,
2D fighters where you would fight. There were up to 4 people were fighting at once in almost like Smash Brothers style, kind of,
yeah,
but it was a
yep.
more normal fighting game though. It had stricter kind of bounds and player movement than what Smash Brothers has. And me and my friend group, dude, we fucking lost ourselves to those games. Like they were dumb fun. They're not fun to play alone. They wouldn't be fun to play online, but in that setting of local multiplayer, like in the same room together, they were a blast, dude. So I think that's where these kind of games struggle for me. Is it's just like it's not a game. I don't find them appealing as a solo game. I don't find them appealing in online. So that'd be the only way I would probably play one. Really, is if like we all got together and actually did that LAN party we always talk about, with our friend group and played locally together, like at somebody's house. That would be probably the place I would play this kind of game. So,
Okay.
but I'm sure people are very excited. It's been 15 years, like I said. I think the Xenoverse games kind of took over that Tenkaichi mantle, though, for at least a couple games. But I don't think, when did Xenoverse 2 come out?
Uh, 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
It feels like that long. Nah, dude. Oh my god. Holy shit. 2016. October 2016.
Yeah, yeah, I
It's
remember
been
because it came out almost
six
a
and a
year
half
after
years.
off of Xenoblade or Xenoverse rather one.
Okay. Yeah, it's been 6.5 years since that came out. Damn, dude. I never played Xenoverse 2 either.
I haven't either. I haven't played Xenoverse 2 as well. I played Xenoblade or Xenoblade. I played Xenoverse 1 extensively. Like I think I had like 40 or 50 hours in that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fair enough. That is all we got for news today, Montreal. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go today?
Nope. That is it for us. That's it for
All
me
right.
rather.
We actually kept it on the short side for once. We're going to be under an hour 30. So it's first time in a while, actually. So uh, let's go us. All right. So, for those of you who like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with either of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montreal. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at the Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. That is going to be it for us this week, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week.